So your definition of balance should take your responsibilities and relationships into consideration. You cannot say this is what balance looked like for me while everybody around you is repeatedly being harmed by your choices. See, healthy balance requires both self-awareness and relational awareness. You have to ask, what do I need? But you also have to ask, how are my choices affecting the people I love?
Every story's got a spark, and every spark's got a name. This is the journey of finding mine. Who am I when the lights go low? Who am I when the world says no? Searching through my past, trying to free my soul. One truth at a time, letting every story unfold.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Who Am I podcast. I am so excited about today's episode, and I am so glad that you could join me this week. See, whether you're listening on your way to work, sitting at home, taking a walk, or simply needing a moment to pause and reflect, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your day. I am so honored about that. But before we jump into today's conversation, I wanted to give all of you a quick update. As many of you know, my recordings are no longer being done in St. Louis, Missouri. Unfortunately, we lost our home and my podcast studio due to severe flooding and sewage backing up into our home. It was an incredibly difficult season for my family, and I truly appreciate all of the prayers, encouraging messages, and support you've shown us during that time. But I also have some exciting news. We are now officially living in sunny Florida. I am so happy to be back in sunny Florida. It feels so good to be back home in the Sunshine State. And I am incredibly grateful for this fresh start. While the background may be different, and things may look a little different from time to time, one thing has not changed. And that thing is this: my commitment to this podcast and to each and every one of you. So if you have not already subscribed to the Who Am I podcast on YouTube, would you please just take a moment to do that? You can find us at whoami.tv7. That's whoami.tv7. Every subscription, every comment, every like, every share, and every word of encouragement means more than you know. I truly appreciate, I really do. Y'all don't know how much I appreciate you all. I appreciate all of your support, and it's because of your generosity, your encouragement, and your belief in this mission that I'm able to continue creating this podcast. I want you to know something. This isn't just my podcast. This is our podcast. This is our Who Am I family. And I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful that we are on this journey together. Now let's take a moment. And we have to do what we always do before every episode. Matter of fact, I got so many messages, so many notifications when I was doing the pre-checks a little later in the episode. Folks was telling me that, hey, we look forward to the pre-check. I love when you do the pre-check opener. So we are back to beginning each episode. I don't know if you noticed within the last few episodes, probably about 8, 9, 10, 12 episodes, that we are back to doing our pre-checks in the beginning, because I want you to know I value your feedback. I hear you and I'm with you and I value you. So before we begin today's conversation, let me take a moment and check on you. Just pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in and then slowly release it. For just a moment, I want you to disconnect from everything that is demanding your attention. Disconnect from the emails, those can wait. The text messages can wait. The deadlines, the laundry, the dishes, the responsibilities, the meetings, the notifications, the expectations, and all of the pressures, they can wait. They can wait for a few minutes. So right now, I want you to check in with yourself. Check in with yourself. Not your job titles, not your role as a husband, wife, your role as a parent, a leader, employee, business owner, minister, caregiver, or friend. But check in with the person underneath all those responsibilities and ask yourself, how am I really doing? Am I tired or am I exhausted? Am I busy or am I fulfilled? Am I accomplishing things while slowly losing myself? Have I created room for the things and people that matter to me? Or have I been giving everything I have to everyone else and surviving on whatever is left? Do not judge your answer. Do not try to correct it yet. Just acknowledge it. Because before you can create a healthier life, you have to be honest about the life you are currently living. So pause, reflect, refocus, and let's begin. So let me ask you something. What if the reason you cannot find work-life balance is because you have been trying to achieve a version of balance that was never designed for your life? See, we hear people talk about work-life balance all the time. Make sure you have balance, they say. Do not work too much. Make time for your family, make time for yourself. They tell you to get enough rest, stay productive, exercise, eat right, grow your career, build your business, be present at home, maintain your friendships. They tell you to take care of your mental health, save money, travel, go to church, volunteer, get 8 hours of sleep, and somehow, I don't know about you, but that just exhausted me just naming all of that. And somehow we are expected to do all of it successfully every day without dropping a single ball. That was a lot. Was that a lot for you? It was definitely a lot to list for me. But here's the truth. Here's the truth, my friend. Sometimes balance does not look like everything receiving an equal amount of your time. Sometimes balance looks like knowing what requires your attention in this particular season of your life. Sometimes balance means working longer hours for a short period because you are building something. Sometimes balance means leaving work unfinished because your family needs you. Sometimes balance means canceling plans because your body is telling you rest. Sometimes balance means admitting I cannot give 100% to everything this week. Balance is not always equal, and balance is definitely not always pretty. Balance is not always peaceful, and balance does not look the same for everybody. So today I want to challenge the traditional idea of work-life balance, because maybe balance is not about giving everything equal time. Maybe it is about giving the right thing the appropriate amount of attention at the right time. So let's talk about the myth of perfect balance. The myth of perfect balance. See, when we hear the word balance, many of us imagine a perfectly even scale. Work on one side, life on the other side. Both sides perfectly level. Nothing moving, nothing shaking, nothing falling. But life does not work like that. Life moves, responsibility changes, seasons change, energy levels change, relationships change, your health may change, your career may change, your family needs may change. What worked for you 5 years ago may no longer work for you today. What worked before you got married may not work after marriage. What worked before you became a parent may not work after children. What worked when you were working one job may not work while you are managing a business, attending school, caring for a loved one, or rebuilding your life. See, we look at someone on social media who wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning, exercise, reads 3 chapters of a book, makes breakfast for the family, runs a successful company, answers every email, cooks dinner, maintains a spotless house, and still has enough energy to post a video explaining how easy it is. And in our head, in our minds, we think, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Let me tell you something and hear me clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. You are seeing a presentation. You are not necessarily seeing the full reality. You do not know what kind of support that person has. You do not know what they have delegated. You do not know what they have sacrificed. You do not know what they are struggling with when the camera is turned off. See, comparison will make you believe that everybody else has mastered life while you are the only person struggling to keep up. But most people are adjusting as they go. Most people are making trade-offs. Most people are deciding what can wait, what cannot wait, what needs their attention, and what they simply do not have the capacity to handle right now. See, the goal should not be to create a life that looks balanced to everybody else. The goal should be to create a life that is healthy, meaningful, and sustainable for you. Nobody else. Sustainability for you. So this is something that I love to do. So every now and then I like to drive for Lyft. I really do. I like to drive for Lyft. And I enjoy meeting different people, hearing their stories, and having conversations with passengers from all walks of life. You never know. You absolutely never know who is going to get into your vehicle. You may meet someone who is beginning a new career, someone who is ending a relationship, someone who is traveling for business, someone who is moving to a new city, someone who is celebrating, someone who is grieving, someone who is simply trying to get home after a long, tiring, and exhausting day. See, those conversations often give me ideas for podcast topics because people will say things that make me pause and think. So allow me to share something with you. Recently, I picked up a passenger, an amazing person, and somehow our conversations moved toward the subject of work-life balance. She says something that immediately grabbed my attention. She said, work-life balance is something so many people talk about, but no one will ever truly, completely be balanced. She talked about how much she loved her work. Her work excited her. She also loved being a wife. She loved her husband and valued her marriage. But she knew she had a demanding week ahead of her. She knew that her energy, her attention, and her focus were going to be heavily directed toward her work, so she communicated that reality to her husband. She said to her husband this. She said, I'm going to be a crappy wife this upcoming week. So whatever you need me to do, tell me now. She had already accepted that she was not going to be doing much outside of work during that particular week. Now, when she first said it, it might have sounded funny. You may even think, why would somebody announce that they are going to be a crappy spouse? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized there was wisdom in her honesty. See, she was not saying that her marriage did not matter. She was not saying that her husband did not matter. She was acknowledging that she had limited capacity. She understood that the upcoming week was going to require more of her professionally. Instead of pretending that she could do everything perfectly, she communicated her limitations before the week began. She gave her husband an opportunity to tell her what he needed. She did not leave him guessing. She did not overpromise and then disappoint him. She said, in all essence, this is what this week is going to look like. Let us prepare for it together. See, that conversation made me realize something. And this is what it taught me, and it made me think. That maybe balance is not pretending that every part of your life will receive the same amount of attention every week. Maybe balance is having the awareness to know where your energy is going and the honesty to communicate it to the people who will be affected. See, this is what leads us to this part of this podcast episode. See, balance requires communication. See, a lot of problems we blame on being busy are actually communication problems or issues. See, the people in our lives do not always need us to be available every second, but they do need to understand what is happening. See, there is a difference between saying, I have a challenging week coming up, and I may not be available as usual, and simply disappearing emotionally without an explanation. See, sometimes we have to say, I have a challenging week coming up, and I may not be as available as usual. But see, some people just disappear emotionally without explanation. And see, there is a difference between telling your family, I have a major project, deadline, examination, conference, or responsibilities that will require more of me this week, and expecting them to automatically understand why you are distracted, tired, quiet, or unavailable. See, people cannot always read your exhaustion. Matter of fact, they can hardly ever read your exhaustion. They cannot always interpret your silence. They may not know that your mind is overwhelmed. They may not know that you are worried about a deadline. See, they may not even know that you are trying to solve a problem at work. All they may see is that you are not present. All they see is that you are not present. And when people do not have information, they often create their own explanation. And this is what happens. They begin to think you do not care about me. You would rather be at work. I am not important to you. You are avoiding me. You do not want to spend time with this family. That may not be your intention at all. But when intentions are not communicated, people are left to interpret your behavior. See, healthy balance requires honest conversations. It may sound like this week is going to be demanding. Can we plan some intentional time together when it is over? It may sound like this. I know I have been bringing work home emotionally. I am trying to improve that. I do not have the capacity to attend every event this month, but I do not want you to think you are unimportant. I need some time to rest, not because I am angry with you, but because I am mentally exhausted. I need help. See, those three words can protect your health, your relationship, and your peace. I need help. You do not have to silently carry everything until you become resentful. You do not have to wait until you explode to announce that you were overwhelmed. Communicate before the breaking point. Communicate before the breaking point. Here's another thing. See, your balance will never look like mine, and my balance will never look like yours. See, what may look balanced to one person may appear completely unbalanced to someone else. See, one person may feel healthy and fulfilled working 60 hours a week because they love their work, have a flexible schedule, and still feel connected to the people they love. See, another person may feel completely depleted working 40 hours because of the physical demands, emotional environment, the commute, caregiving responsibilities, or stress involved. See, one person may need a social gathering every weekend to feel refreshed. Another person may need a quiet weekend at home. See, one person may enjoy answering emails late at night. Another person may need a strict boundary that says no work after 5 o'clock. See, one couple may be comfortable spending most of the week focused on their individual goals and reconnecting on the weekend. See, another couple may need daily quality time to feel close. See, neither structure is automatically better. The question is not, does my life look balanced according to somebody else? The question is this: is the way I am living working for me and the people connected to me? See, this is the question we often avoid. Is this working? Is my schedule sustainable? Am I healthy? Are my important relationships being neglected? Do I still recognize myself? Am I constantly exhausted? Am I always irritated? Do I resent the people I love because I have not established boundaries? Do I resent my work because I never truly disconnect? Do I resent myself because I keep saying yes when I desperately want to say no? Listen to me and hear me clearly. Balance is personal, but personal does not mean selfish. So your definition of balance should take your responsibilities and relationships into consideration. You cannot say this is what balance looked like for me while everybody around you is repeatedly being harmed by your choices. See, healthy balance requires both self-awareness and relational awareness. You have to ask, what do I need? But you also have to ask, how are my choices affecting the people I love? And see, I'm talking to you about work-life balance, but this is something that I am also talking to myself about, because being married, working full-time, doing a full-time podcast, running a children episode podcast, trying to do all of this and being a father and operating in ministry and just trying to do all of this stuff, it can cause you to think that you're doing balance perfectly when all in essence, some things are lacking. And then we wonder why our spouses are constantly complaining and crying, saying, will you make room for me? And in your head, you think that you're doing all of this stuff. Hey, I am making time for you. But it's like when you sit back and you reflect and you think, you're like, maybe this person is not just talking. So it's like the more I do these episodes, like a lot of times when I have these topic ideas and stuff like that, it's for you, but it's also for me. Because while I'm trying to self-improve you, I'm also self-improving myself with you. So we are all learning and growing together as one. And that is why this podcast is a community. This is our Who Am I podcast. So as I go back, our choices affect the people we love. So here's another thing I want to share with you. See, balance changes with the seasons. Balance changes with the seasons. See, there are seasons when work will need more of you. There are seasons when your family will need more of you. There are seasons when your health will need more of you. There are seasons when grief will require your attention. There are seasons when you are building, launching, studying, training, moving, healing, or starting over. You cannot always maintain the same rhythm in every season. Imagine trying to wear a winter coat in the middle of summer because it worked perfectly in January. See, the coat is not bad. The coat is definitely not bad. It is simply inappropriate for the current season. See, some of us are frustrated because we are trying to maintain routines that no longer match our lives. You may have been able to volunteer for everything before you started a demanding new position. You may have been able to work late every night before you became a parent, a husband, a wife, a spouse. You may have been able to handle everyone's emergencies before you began dealing with your own health crisis. You may have been able to travel frequently before becoming responsible for an aging family member. You are not weak because your capacity changed. You are simply human. See, your life's changed, so your rhythm has to change. A healthy life is not rigid. It adjusts, it responds, it recognizes when something that used to work is no longer working. See, there may be a season where your business needs late nights, but late nights cannot become your permanent lifestyle without eventually costing you something. See, there may be a season when your family requires nearly all of your attention, but you cannot permanently abandon your own needs without eventually becoming depleted. See, the challenge is not giving extra attention to one area during a demanding season. The danger is allowing a temporary season to become a permanent pattern. See, one difficult week is understandable, but one demanding month may be necessary. But 5 years of saying things will slow down soon may be a warning that you have built a life with no room to slow down. You have to examine whether you are in a season or trapped in a cycle. So let's talk about the cost of being everything to everybody. The cost of being everything to everybody. See, some of us do not have a time management problem. We have a boundary problem. We keep saying yes to things we do not have the capacity to do. We accept responsibilities because we do not want to disappoint people. We take every phone call. We take every phone call. We try to solve every problem. We attend every gathering. We cover every shift. We volunteer for every assignment. We become the dependable person, and there is nothing wrong with being dependable. But dependability without boundaries can turn into self-abandonment. Dependability without boundaries can turn into self-abandonment. And eventually, people stop asking whether you have the capacity because you have trained them to believe you always will. They call and you answer. Matter of fact, you come running. Matter of fact, you can't wait to get the phone call. You sit by your phone and wait. You sit by your computer and wait, just waiting to be Captain Save 'em. They ask and you agree. They create a crisis and you immediately make it your responsibility. You become everybody's emergency contact while having no one you feel comfortable calling when you are falling apart. You become the person who keeps everyone else balanced while your own life is collapsing, is falling apart. Listen to me and hear me clearly. You cannot be everything to everybody. And you should not have to completely destroy yourself to prove that you are a good person. Saying no does not make you selfish. Saying no does not make you selfish. I'm going to say it a third time because I had a professor that always says if I repeat something 3 times, that means that it's going to be on the test. So saying no does not make you selfish. Tattoo that on your chest. Saying no does not make you selfish. Resting does not make you lazy. Delegating does not make you incapable. Asking for help does not make you weak. Changing your availability does not mean you stop caring. Sometimes the most responsible thing you can say is this: I cannot do that right now. I have learned that. I have mastered that. I cannot be all things to all people. So telling somebody I cannot do that right now, and you're not telling them because the request is unimportant, and it's not because the person is unimportant. It's because of this. You understand your current capacity. So it's not because the request is unimportant. It's not because the person is unimportant, but simply because this, you understand your current capacity. Because every yes has a cost. When you say yes to another meeting, you may be saying no to rest. When you say yes to another shift, you may be saying no to time with your family. So when you say yes to another event, you may be saying no to the quiet time your mind is in desperate need of. This does not mean, this does not mean you should never accept extra responsibilities. It means you should understand what your yes requires. It means you should understand what your yes requires. Do not keep paying for your commitments with your health, your peace, and your closest relationships. So I also want to say this clearly. Work is not automatically the enemy. Sometimes conversation about work-life balance makes it sound as though enjoying work is unhealthy. But some people genuinely love what they do. They really do. Work can provide purpose. It can provide structure. It can allow you to use your gifts. It can challenge you. It can give you opportunities to serve people. It can provide financial stability. It can create a sense of accomplishment. See, there is nothing wrong with being excited about your career. There is nothing wrong with pursuing excellence. There is nothing wrong with building something meaningful. The problem begins, this is where it begins, when your work becomes the only place where you feel valuable. When your identity becomes completely attached to your productivity, slowing down can feel terrifying. See, you may begin to believe, if I am not producing, I am not important. If I am not accomplishing something, I am wasting time. If I am not available, they will replace me. If I do not handle everything, everything will fall apart. But you are more. You are more than what you produce. You are more than your position. You are more than your income. You are more than your performance review. You are more than the number of people who depend on you professionally. Your job may be something you do extremely well. It just may be something you do extremely well, but it should not become the only proof that your life matters. You need a self that exists outside of your work. You do. You need relationships where you are loved without performing. You need moments where productivity is not the goal. You need something in your life that reminds you that you are a human being and not a machine. So life is more than recovery from work. Life is more than recovery from work. See, some people have created a routine where their entire personal life is spent recovering from their professional life. They work all week. They spend the weekend too exhausted to enjoy anything. Saturday becomes the day to recover from Monday through Friday. Sunday becomes the day to dread Monday. Then the cycle begins all over again. See, you are never fully present at work because you are exhausted. You are never fully present at home because you are recovering. And you begin to call that normal. But survival should not become your permanent definition of adulthood. Life cannot only be about making it through the week. There should be moments that restore you. There should be moments that restore you. There should be experiences that brings you joy. There should be conversations that have nothing to do with deadlines. There should be laughter. There should be stillness. There should be room to discover who you are outside of what everybody needs from you. So ask yourself this. What actually restores me? Not what distracts me, not what numbs me. What restores me? What restores the person I used to be? Scrolling for 3 hours may distract you. but it may not restore you. Watching television until 2 o'clock in the morning may temporarily help you avoid your thoughts, but it may leave you more exhausted. Constantly filling your schedule with social activities may help you avoid being alone, but it may not give your mind the rest it needs. See, restoration does this. Restoration leaves you with more clarity, more strength, and more capacity. It may be sleep. It may be prayer, exercise, music, fishing. I love fishing. Driving, reading, love reading. Cooking, I absolutely love cooking. It's something so relaxing about music, fishing, reading, and cooking for me. And then another thing I really enjoy is this: spending time with someone who allows you to be yourself. That part right there is so important. Spending time with someone who allows you to be yourself. Sometimes it's just sitting quietly, going for a walk, turning your phone off. See, your restoration does not have to look impressive. It simply needs to work, and not punching a time clock, not that kind of work. It simply needs to work for you, work for your well-being, your mental health. You need that time to recover, to reset, refocus. Okay? So let's talk about this. And this is one of my exciting parts of this topic. See, balance is about rhythm. Balance is about rhythm. See, I have started to think that rhythm may be a better word than balance. And I say it because of this. Balance sounds like everything has to remain perfectly still. But rhythm does this. Rhythm allows movement. See, rhythm has a faster movement, and rhythm has a slower movement. Rhythm has a sound, and rhythm has a silence. Rhythm has intensity, and it also has rest. A song without pauses will become noisy. Music needs space. Your life does too. See, there will be weeks when the rhythm is fast, deadlines are approaching, responsibilities are increasing, decisions have to be made. There will also be times when the rhythm needs to slow down. You need to recover. You need to reconnect. You need to listen. You need to breathe. The key is recognizing the rhythm of your current season without losing yourself inside of it. See, a fast rhythm cannot continue forever. Even the strongest drummer has to stop playing eventually. Even the greatest singer has to take a breath between phrases. See, rest is not separate from the music. Rest is part of the music. And rest is not separate from productivity. Rest makes sustainable productivity possible. You do not have to earn the right to breathe. You do not have to collapse before you are permitted to rest. You do not have to reach complete exhaustion before you admit that something needs to change. So I want to give you 5 questions that can help you examine your own definition of work, life, balance. Question number 1. What matters most in this season? Not what everybody else says should matter. What matters in this season? Maybe you're trying to complete a degree. Maybe you are rebuilding financially. Maybe you are starting a business. Maybe you are caring for a family member. Maybe you are launching a podcast. Maybe you are healing from loss. Maybe you are trying to restore your marriage. Maybe your health is requiring more attention. Identify your current priorities. When everything is a priority, nothing is truly a priority. You need the courage to decide what deserves your best energy right now. Question number 2. What is suffering because of my current schedule? Now, with this question, you have to be honest. Is your sleep suffering? Is it your health, your marriage, your relationship with your children, your spouse, your spiritual life, your friendship, your emotional stability, your performance at work? See, you may be accomplishing your goals while ignoring the cost. See, success that destroys everything you value may not be the success you actually want. Question number 3. What do I need to communicate? What do I need to communicate? Who needs to understand what this season requires from you? Is it your spouse, your children, your supervisor, your team, your friends, your church, your business partner? Do not simply become unavailable. Explain what is happening in this moment. Set realistic expectations. Ask what the people close to you needs from you during this particular season. Just like the passenger in my vehicle told her husband that the upcoming week would be demanding, you can communicate before frustration builds. Question number 4. You do not have to do everything personally. What can be delayed? What can be simplified? What can someone else handle? What responsibility are you holding because you are afraid no one else will do it exactly like you? Sometimes perfectionism creates unnecessary exhaustion. Done may be better than perfect. Shared may be better than carried alone. And simple may be better than impressive. Question number 5. What does restoration look like for me? See, you need to know how you recover. Do not wait until you are completely empty to discover what fills you. Schedule restoration before exhaustion. Protect it. Treat it like a real responsibility, because taking care of yourself helps you show up more fully for everything else. There will be imbalanced days. Just know that there will be imbalanced days. See, you may spend 12 hours working. You may spend an entire day caring for a child. You may have a week where your personal goals receive almost no attention. You may have a weekend where you do absolutely nothing productive. One day does not define your entire life. One difficult week does not mean you have failed. The goal is not to make every day perfectly balanced. The goal is to make sure your overall life does not consistently neglect what matters most. See, think about balance over a broader period. Maybe work requires more from you Monday through Thursday, but Friday evening is protected family time. Maybe 1 month is intense, but you intentionally schedule recovery afterwards. See, maybe you cannot give every relationship equal time, but you make sure the important people in your life know they matter. Maybe you cannot exercise for an hour. Maybe you cannot exercise for an hour, but you can take a 15-minute walk. Maybe you cannot take a week-long vacation, but you can protect one quiet morning. Balance is not always found in major life changes. Balance is not always found in major life changes. Sometimes balance is created through small, intentional decisions. Intentional decisions to turn off your notifications. Intentional decisions to take your lunch break away from your desk. Not answering every call immediately. Leaving work on time one day this week. Going to bed early. Asking someone else for help. Having an honest conversation with your spouse. Being fully present for 30 minutes instead of being physically present and mentally distracted for 3 hours. Small changes can create breathing room. Small changes can create breathing rooms. So stop feeling guilty for adjusting. You may feel guilty when you begin changing your boundaries. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries may not celebrate your growth. See, when you stop being available every second, somebody may say you have changed. When you stop accepting every responsibility, somebody may question your commitment. When you begin protecting your family time, somebody may call you difficult. See, when you begin protecting your rest, somebody may call you selfish. But not every criticism is confirmation that you are doing something wrong. Sometimes criticism is simply evidence that people are adjusting to the healthier version of you. See, you are allowed to change your schedule. You are allowed to reevaluate your priorities. You are allowed to admit that something is no longer working. You are allowed to say, no, I cannot continue living like this. You are allowed to create a life that does not require you to constantly recover from it. So here is a message to the person who feels behind. Allow me to encourage you for a moment. Maybe you're listening to this episode and feeling as though you have already failed. Your house is not organized. Your work is piling up. You have not been spending enough time with your family. You have not exercised. You have not returned those phone calls. You are behind on your personal goals. You feel like every area of your life needs your immediate attention. You that's listening, and if this is you, take a breath. And if this is not you, take a breath. Oh my God, that feels so good. One more time, take a breath. You do not have to repair your entire life today. Today, choose one area, have one conversation, set one boundary, remove one unnecessary commitment, take 1 hour to rest, complete one important task. Balance is not created through panic. It is created through intentionality. It is created through intentionality. You do not need a perfect plan. You only need an honest starting point. Ask yourself, what is one change that will make this week healthier? Healthier, not perfect, but healthier. Maybe it is telling your family what your work week looks like. Maybe it is telling your supervisor that your current workload is unsustainable. Maybe it is scheduling a doctor's appointment you keep postponing. Maybe it is saying no to one invitation. Maybe it is planning a date night. Maybe it is sitting in your car for 10 quiet minutes before entering your home so you do not carry the stress of your workday through the front doors. One intentional change can be shifting the rhythm of your life. So here is my final reflection for you. Here's my final reflection for you. And I keep thinking about that Lyft passenger. I'm going to be a crappy wife this upcoming week. So whatever you need me to do, tell me now. See, she knew herself. She knew her capacity. She knew her upcoming schedule. She knew her limitations. She knew what she had in store for her that was coming up that upcoming week. And she communicated them. She did not pretend. She did not make promises she knew she could not keep. She created a space for preparation. See, that may not be everybody's version of balance. Some people may completely disagree with her approach. And that is the point. Balance looks different for different people. See, the goal is not to create a life that everybody else approves of. The goal is to create a rhythm. It's to create a rhythm that allows you to honor your responsibilities without completely abandoning yourself. See, your balance may not look like my balance. Your schedule may not look like mine. Your capacity may not match my capacity. Your priorities may be different, but whatever your version of balance looks like, it should include honesty. It should also include communication, boundaries. It should include moments of restoration. And it should be sustainable enough that you do not have to destroy yourself to maintain it. So here's your challenge for this week. Sit down and examine your current rhythm. Write down the major areas of your life: work, family, relationships, health, faith, rest, personal growth, joy. Do not divide your time equally just because the list has equal space. Instead, ask, which areas needs more attention right now? Which area has been receiving too much of me? Which area have I been neglecting? What conversations do I need to have? What boundary do I need to establish? What can I release? And what does a healthier week looks like for me? Then what I want you to do is this. Make one adjustment, not 10, but one. Because a balanced life is not created through one dramatic decision. It is created through consistent moments of awareness, honesty, and adjustments. So listen, family, you do not have to master every area of your life at the same time. You do not have to be the perfect employee, the perfect spouse, the perfect parent, the perfect friend, the perfect leader, and the perfect person every single day. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to have a demanding season. You are allowed to need help. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to communicate your limitations, and you are allowed to define balance in a way that fits the life you are actually living. So remember, balance is not always equal. Balance is not always 50-50. Sometimes balance is 90-10 today, and then 10-90 tomorrow. Sometimes balance is giving your career more attention for a season while making sure your family understands the plan. Sometimes balance is stepping away from work because your health, your marriage, your children, or your spirit needs you. See, balance is not about dividing yourself into perfectly equal pieces. It is about making sure no important part of you remains neglected forever. This is your reminder to pause, reflect, and refocus, and ask yourself, am I building a life I can actually live in, or am I building a life that only looks successful from the outside? You deserve more than a life that simply keeps you busy. You deserve a life that allows you to be present, a life that makes room for purpose and peace, a life where you can work hard without losing the people you are working for, a life where you can pursue your goals without forgetting who you are. So until next time, give yourself permission to adjust, give yourself permission to communicate, give yourself permission to breathe, and always remember, you are not failing because your balance looks different. You are learning how to create a life that fits you. So before we move forward, I want you to pause for just a moment. Take a breath. Wherever you are, whatever you're carrying, this next part is for you. Let's speak life over ourselves out loud if you can. Because what we say in this moment has the power to shift how we walk into the rest of our day. So let's begin with our affirmation. I am not defined by my past or limited by my mistakes. I am growing, learning, and becoming who I was created to be. I have values beyond titles, roles, and expectations. I choose honesty over fear and growth over comfort. I am allowed to change, heal, and evolve. I walk with purpose, clarity, and courage. I am becoming more aligned with my true self every day, and who I am is enough. So as we close today's episode, I want to thank you for taking this time for yourself. If something you heard inspired you, challenged you, or made you pause and reflect, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who may need it. Invite them into the conversation. See, this podcast grows when we grow together. I cannot do this without you. See, we grow together through shared stories, honest reflections, and real connections. Every listen, every share, every conversation helps create a community rooted in purpose, rooted in love, rooted in hope, rooted in faith, rooted in trust and truth. So until next time, keep reflecting, keep becoming, and remember, you matter. This is the Who Am I podcast, and let's walk this journey together.
Who am I? Yeah, I'm more than the pain, more than the pride. Who am I? Who am I? Walking in purpose, no mask, no disguise. This is my voice, my rise, my life. Welcome to Who Am I?